I have been in a book slump for a longest time, and I'm just trying to get out of the book slump basically in this video. I thought it would be a cool video to just try and get out the slump. I've been slumping like basically all month. I've not read anything this whole month of November, but I had my birthday, so there will be like a birthday book haul probably soon, or it may already be up. If you have enjoyed that, I think it's already up. But today I'm starting off the video with one of the books, and that's The Book Thief by Marcus Zusak. Not too sure how to say his name, but I love the back of this. So this one says that this is all from the point of view of death, and this is all centered around a young girl who is called Liesel, and she is a 9-year-old girl in Germany, and it's set in Nazi Germany. All about Death, who is a person in this book. He's a being, and he has never been busier. Liesel is living with a foster family. Her parents have been taken away, and she steals books, and it's her story and the story of the inhabitants of her street when the bombs begin to fall. I'm really interested in this one. I am actually currently about 40 pages in, and I am interested. It is a little bit complicated, like, to get your head around the fact that it's all from like Death's point of view, and it's a bit poetic at points, which I do like, and I think this book could have a nice like lasting hold on me like other books I've had in the past. The next book I'm actually going to go on to is like a really hard-hitting book, because I really want to push myself out this slump, and I had to put a pause on Pet Cemetery. I was doing a video on that, but like I was just getting so slumpy with that book, so I'm going to come back to that at a different point. But yes, I've been doing it so far. I'm going to read a book tonight, try and like really get into it, and hopefully I can. I completely forgot to tell you, by the way, I have actually watched the film for The Book Thief. So this book is called The Book Thief. I don't know if I told you. I only actually released like 5 books, and all of them have been like really good really good like bestsellers. I've watched the film, really enjoyed it myself. I really watched it. I really liked it, but I watched it when I was in primary school, so I don't really remember loads of it. I really enjoy learning about things to do with the Second World War, so. I am at page 66, and this book is so good. I'm at chapter The Other Side of Sandpaper, and really getting there. Like in the last 20 pages, it's just been so like harrowing, and the way that like topics get brought up, they don't ease us into things. Like we've had children joining the Hitler Youth, parents admitting that they're in the Nazi party, and it's harrowing. It's really like hard-hitting book. And we're only 66 pages into this book, so I'm very, very much excited for the rest of the book. As much as I've watched the film, I don't remember much of the film. I simply remember that there was Rudy and Liesel, and that's about it. And I remember there was a scene with like books burning, but I was so young, I just don't remember any of it. So it's not like I'm gonna know what's gonna happen or anything. I have literally no clue. So far, it's really good. I'm liking the descriptions. I like that it's from the perspective of death. I just think it's a very interesting outlook, and it's very good. This is probably the best idea I've had, because I am at page 202, chapter, oh, it doesn't say, Liesel's lecture, and I've done all this in one day, and I've not been reading it all day, just like at the night, like in the nighttime. How crazy. It is. Oh my god, my makeup is atrocious. I'm back from uni, and I have read so much of this book yesterday, so I'm actually at page, this lighting is doing nothing for me. It got worse. That's not happening. At page 243, I'm basically nearly halfway through. It's such a good book. So I've got some notes I'm going to tell you about. I've written things down. So my first notes were about the characters. So the characters we've got in this book, the ones that we're focused on, are Rosa, which is the mum, the foster mum, Hans, which is the papa, the dad, and we have Rudy, and our main character is Liesel. These are our main focus in the book so far. We've got Hans, who is the dad, as I said, and he is so caring. He taught Liesel how to read, even though he struggles to read himself. And this is all set in Nazi Germany, and he has a very strained relationship with Rosa, who is his wife, and also his own kid, who is Hans Jr., who is a Nazi. We then have Rosa, who is very harsh and strict and complains a lot, but she cares about Liesel and of course about Hans, who is her husband. I'm up to page 240s, as I said, and I said that in this book it feels real. Like, this could be someone's life and I would believe it. It just feels so realistic. I said that the backstory flashbacks are just done so well, and the fact that this is from the point of view of death, it's It's just so perfect and poetic. It's great. I don't want to put the book down. Max is an interesting character that's come into it, and I've really enjoyed the historical references because they've not just been historical references, they've like really fit with the characters. So for instance, things that we've had mentioned so far are communists, a book burning situation, Hitler Youth, parents of some of the main characters and some of her friends being in the Nazi party and their reasonings behind it. And their reasonings aren't just because they are, like their reasonings are so different. So for instance, we've got a shopkeeper who is a typical like Aryan shopkeeper, and she's very obsessed with Hitler and very obsessed with the whole Nazi party. We've got one of the parents of one of the school children is like out of fear, and it's because their children are all blonde haired and blue eyed that it's convenient for them to be like, we support Hitler, so that they don't get in trouble for anything. Whereas we have Hans, who doesn't support Hitler in any way, but he is trying to look after his family at the same time, and he doesn't want Liesel to get in trouble because she is an avid Hitler hater, reasons you find out in the book. But so far, yeah, we've just had Max show up. So Max is, I don't want to like ruin things, because the back doesn't really explain anything. It says in here like Liesel steals books, and she does, like she is very much a little bookworm and she really wants to learn how to read properly. She has been learning with her dad, like he has been helping her. It's been so sweet seeing it. There's also been an illustrations bit which just made this book feel so real. So one of the characters ended up making Liesel a birthday present. So this is like pages that he has drawn, this character, and he has drawn it on top of Mein Kampf, which is a book that Hitler wrote. And in the background you can actually see the pages of it behind the pictures. It's just the details, man, like the details are really like getting it for me. I'm loving it. So about to start part 5, which is called The Whistler, and yeah, I don't know how many parts there are, but I'm very much excited. This book is just so good. I'm at page 351. It is so good on so many levels. I'm a good chunk into this book actually, and I'm really enjoying it. The perspective of death is such an interesting perspective, and honestly I couldn't expect, like, what's the word? I couldn't even imagine reading this from anyone else's perspective. I just think it works so well with it being from Death's perspective. And we're at the point where like things are getting stressful, things are tense, and I feel on edge. But it's written so perfectly and so beautifully, and it's such a bitter book. It has that bitter taste in your mouth when you read it. I am loving this book. Loving this book. Ignore that side, it's crazy. I got ready for an evening out. I went for a birthday meal with some family members and I was getting ready, and it's crazy over there. So the book, where am I up to? I've read a lot since we last spoke. Actually this far into it, I've really not got much left. I'm going to read some now actually. But today I read an awful lot. I read like over 100 pages and I've read up to page 414. I think that's exceptional considering I'm in such a book slump and I haven't picked up a book all month apart from this book. How crazy is that? I was trying Pet Cemetery, I just was not clicking with it. And I think the thing with book slumps is when you're reading a book and you're not vibing with it and you're so like, no, I'm gonna keep going, and you get to that point where you're like, oh my god, I'm behind on my Goodreads, oh my god, I'm like slipping behind, oh my god, no, now I've got this idea of like, I don't want to pick up a book, and you don't pick up a book for ages, and then you're like, okay, this is fine, like I've not picked up one for ages, I don't need to pick up one. You get in this mindset of like, I can't remember a book that actually impacted me, or a book that I thought, I can't put this down. And that's where I was at, and I was just like, I don't even remember when I last read a book that made me say wow. So I was looking through all my books, and the reason I chose this book is because it was the one that I looked at and I thought, I'm gonna have a great time with that book. I mean, look at the front as it is. I'm gonna read you the back real quick because I just want to give you an option of a book and give you the blurb of a book that is great in case you're in a book slump. So it's just such a different format to any other book I've read before. So this book is called The Book Thief. It is by Marcus Zusak. Here is a small fact. You are going to die. 1939, Nazi Germany. The country is holding its breath. Death has never been busier. Liesel, a 9-year-old girl, is living with a foster family on Himmel Street. Parents have been taken away to a concentration camp. Liesel steals books. This is her story and the story of the inhabitants of her street. So this whole book we follow Liesel and her story.
but we are being told this through the eyes of death. It's so interesting, and if any of that stuff sparks a bit of interest in you, I'd say pick it up, because I saw this, I watched it ages ago. As I said, Nazi Germany is always a topic that I find intrigues me, and it's something I constantly educate myself on, because if you don't learn from history, you're bound to repeat it, in my opinion. I just think it's such an important topic to educate yourself on, is history. I think it's the one subject, in my opinion, that everybody should study. And so this subject matter is incredibly interesting to me and incredibly gripping and captivating. It's really like got me in its hooks, like I'm really being caught. So since we spoke, quite a lot has happened. I mean, I've read an entire like part since we last spoke. So this book is split up into different parts. So I'll give you an example. Let me show you the first one in the book. So the first one, we've got the prologue, and this is how the prologue looks. It's a very blank page, and then we have later on part one. I'm just looking for part one to show you what I mean. Here it is. So part one, it says here, it's a pretty blank page, not much on it. It says the Grave Digger's Handbook, featuring, and then it shows all the chapter names. And recently we just finished part 7. We're currently on part 8, which is the World Shaker, and I am on the 4th chapter, and this is the Promise Keeper's Wife. I'm enjoying it so far. Stuff that's happened recently. So I did mention how I liked the parents in this book. I thought they were very layered characters. I do think every character in this book is very interesting, in my opinion. We've had more darker things happen in this book. For instance, without giving too much away, we've had more historical sections in this book now. Now had some air raid sirens, and the announcement of bombs being dropped on Germany, and the fact that Liesel's parents bought a radio, and this radio is solely for the purpose of hearing people announce where these bombs are estimated to be dropped and what towns need to evacuate, basically. Such a good way to add that into the book at this point, when we're already like 400 pages in, because we really care about these characters. We really want them to be okay, and we've already established like a relationship with them. They already feel like real people, and we saw them react to the fact that they had to go into a bomb shelter. We also saw how they reacted to the noises outside the shelter, and we had Rosa, the mum, being very nervous and very twitchy. We had the dad being very calm and collected, but you can still tell that he was nervous. And then we had Liesel, who doesn't quite understand everything, but she does understand what is happening. So many factors into like what they're thinking, and because we just feel like we know them, it's just such an interesting experience. We've also seen more about the extent of the Nazi youth's hold, the Hitler youth's hold on the children. By this I mean the fact that they feel obliged to just go along with what they're being told at this, I don't want to call it a club, because it's just, I don't know, it feels weird to call it that, thing they are required to attend, that's what we'll say. And this is especially true with Rudy. I'm in shock. Oh my god. I expected that book to be good. I really did. I hoped. And I really thoroughly enjoyed that book. That was amazing. And I'd usually wait to rate the books and really think about it. I don't have to wait. That was a 5-star through and through, and possibly, yeah, it's definitely my best book that I've ever read in my life. It is my favourite book. That was absolutely phenomenal. It felt so much longer than like 500 pages. It felt like everything. And I am very emotional now. The ending was utterly beautiful. Death, again, was poetic. His wording was just beautiful. And the way that the book ended brilliant, and I didn't think the descriptions were going to hurt me as much as they did, but they did. And as you could see, I was crying a lot. I'm probably gonna film a little bit more to see if like I'm ready to start my next book and to see if I'm out of my slump now, and then I'll finish the video. But I'm so happy I finished that. If you are in a slump or if you're wanting something to read, please read The Book Thief by Marcus Zusak. Honestly, the best book I've ever read. The book slump is over, guys. The book slump is over. I've started reading The Handmaid's Tale, and this is going to be a new video going up, is me reading this book. So I'm very, you know, it's a very dark book, and it's actually being banned in a country, America, you know, since a certain president has come around. And I think it's important to read it, considering what the rights are for women right now in America. So that's going to be a video on its own. So I hope you enjoy that coming up soon. And I will see you guys soon with another video. Subscribe, like, and do that stuff, and I will see you guys pretty soon. Give me any suggestions for reading or reading ideas or videos you'd like to see, because I know somebody said on my channel the other day that they really like the Get Ready With Me, and I hadn't done one in ages, so I can do another one if you want me to do, and we can talk about books the whole time. And I will see you guys pretty soon. Bye.